Well, hello everyone, CJ Rambler here, and after waiting months and months and months, it is finally here, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8. I am so excited, as I'm sure any avid fan of the show is. There are 12 drag queens this season, and with these 12 drag queens, it officially makes it 100 queens that have walked through the workroom, which I think is awesome that they're doing it that way. Basically, I am making this video to give a breakdown of the queens that I really like, the queens that I'm not so sure about, and the queens that I just don't think are a good fit for the show. And for those of you who have watched my videos in the past, yes, I look a little different. I have the little buzz cut going on here. I feel like I look like Sinead O'Connor and Justin Timberlake got together and had a baby. Don't know if those are the best comparisons. I'm still getting used to it, so please let me know what you think. Even though I'm sure you're more interested in the queens of the season, as am I. So let's get to it. So the first drag queen I'm looking at here is Acid Betty. Acid Betty is the oldest queen on the show. She's 37, and I think that's such a shame. She's the oldest and she's 37. Jeez. That seems like such a not that old to me, really, honestly. But anyway, so I really liked her in the group shot of all the girls. She was the first one that caught my eye. She has that kind of underground 80s kind of punk rock kind of look about her, and she actually has a lot of videos on YouTube, so I would check them out. And she, I guess, made an appearance on Project Runway a few years back when they did a challenge where they had to dress a drag queen, and she looked great there too. In her videos, she doesn't come across very likable to me, and she kind of points out she's a bitch all the time, which kind of is off-putting to me. I feel like the only people that can really do that and make it funny is pretty much like Bianca Del Rio, Raven. But I think she'll be good. You know, in the past, older queens usually don't go that far. They kind of kick them out right within the first few episodes. But I can see her going pretty far. She's got a really cool look about her, and I like her. The next queen is Bob the Drag Queen. I watched Bob the Drag Queen's video. He is hysterical. Definitely a big favorite of mine. I love it how he said in his interview that Bob stands for big old bottom. He says that he's a phenomenal lip syncer, which I can definitely agree with. I've watched him in a few of his videos. There's actually one, you should look it up. I think it's just Bob the Drag Queen Crazy, and he does a lip sync version of Crazy by Gnarls Barkley and throws in a lot of other stuff in there, and it's hilarious. Definitely a favorite of mine. I think she's either gonna make the top 3 or win. I'm a big fan of hers. The next drag queen is Chi-Chi DeVayne. I like Chi-Chi's look. I actually thought she kind of looked a little like RuPaul in the group shot. Her interview, I wasn't blown away by, and I've seen previews of the season, and she seems like she's kind of trying a little too hard, I think, to stand out. She, you know, she's cute. She said she named herself Chi-Chi from Chi-Chi Rodriguez and Dewang Fu, so you gotta love that. She looks like a pageant queen to me, but what's interesting is in her interview she said that she's really campy, so I was kind of surprised by that. So I'm interested to see what she does. I honestly don't see her lasting more than a couple episodes, but if she goes far, it'd be a nice, pleasant surprise. The next one we have is Cynthia Lee Fontaine. I say Cynthia because that's how she says it. She's the Puerto Rican queen. They usually have 1 or 2 every season. Says she's very elegant, sophisticated. I mean, I like her. I feel like the Puerto Rican queens usually go pretty far on the show, usually about halfway. I don't see her going that far, but she's likable. I like her. She's got a nice personality. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Jocelyn Fox with her energy. But next is Derrick Barry. I'm a huge Derrick Barry fan. I've seen Divas Las Vegas twice, once in Vegas and then another time in Detroit. I did see him perform as Britney Spears the first time when I saw it in Vegas, and he is phenomenal. He's a great performer. He says he wants to be the Britney of Chad Michael Cher, which I can definitely see. She does seem a little cocky in her previews, but at the same time, it's kind of, I mean, if anyone's going to be cocky, it should be her. She has a lot of experience, and she's a great performer, and I definitely see her as being a huge competitor this season. Next up we have, I really don't like this name, Dax exclamation point. I think he should just go by Dax. I like Dax. Kind of like Max, but Dax. Visually, I was not feeling Dax at all. He actually reminds me a lot of Milan, which if you've watched my videos where I rank the queens of Drag Race, Milan's like third to last, I believe. Like, do not care for Milan. But she actually is pretty cool. Like, I thought her attitude was really funny. She said she'd rather be at the club than watch some queen lip sync a Britney song. Derrick Barry, much. And she said she's a queen for all the nerds, so she's got a cool personality. She did say she's Violet Chachki's drag mother, so she's the one that I have to slap. I like her. I don't see her going that far, but again, could be surprised. Next up, we have Kimchi. Kimchi's been rumored to be on the show for several seasons now, and she's finally here. She's very high fashion, very editorial. I really like her a lot. I think she's got an interesting look. I don't think she's going to win it. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they booted her kind of early, a la Trixie Mattel. But maybe if they do an episode where they bring a queen back, maybe it'll be her. One thing I thought was interesting is that she said if she could pick any song to lip sync to, it would be Sin Wagon by the Dixie Chicks. That's interesting. And then one thing I want to point out is her favorite saying ever on the show is, "Stacey Lane Matthews, your LeMay was lame." So I'm on the Kimchi wagon for sure. Next up is Layla McQueen. She comes across a little unpolished, and she kept pointing out how she doesn't want to be seen as a wannabe, but the whole time I was watching her video, I just kept thinking she was trying to be like a Thor. That's just the vibe I got, but it might be different. I did like her personality. I liked how when they asked, describe your drag style, she just went, bad. And then she brought up about her personal hashtags, buttermilk pancakes, salamander. I thought that was pretty interesting. I did watch a video on YouTube of him doing a lip sync, and it was to White Wedding, but he started out dressed up as Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice, which I thought was really cool. So I think he could make it about halfway. I don't see Layla as a big competitor, but a lot of people seem to like her look a lot. Next is a big favorite of mine, Nyomi Smalls. I've actually followed Nyomi on Instagram and Facebook for a few years now, and she's always been a big favorite drag queen of mine. I'm so glad to see her finally on the show. I think she's going to pull out some incredible looks, and she actually reminds me of kind of like a combination between Raja and Trinity K. Bonet, which I think that's a great combo. And if Bob the Drag Queen doesn't take it all, I believe it's going to be Nyomi. I just see her taking it all. Next up, we have Naisha Lopez, which I'm not going to spend much time because I can already tell you I do not like this drag queen. Usually I like the pageant girls, but she just kept going on and on and on about, I'm so pretty. Oh, I'm such a beauty. Oh, me and J-Lo have so much in common. I don't know if Jennifer Lopez is the best person you want to have stuff in common with. I just don't care for her. She actually reminds me of a bad version of Chi-Chi Rodriguez from Tu Wong Fu, hashtag John Leguizamo. So yes, don't care for her. Hopefully she gets booted in the first couple episodes. Next is Robbie Turner, who is the Seattle drag queen, and Seattle's brought us queens like Jinx Monsoon and Ben de la Creme. I really like Robbie Turner. He's very much into the old classic films, very inspired by old Hollywood, a la Tammy Brown. I feel like a lot of the times the drag queens that like old school drag or like to be inspired by old Hollywood films don't make it very far. I really hope that that changes with Robbie. Came across very likable in the interview, and I've seen his videos, and he actually has a video where he lip syncs The Name Game by Jessica Lange in American Horror Story, which is hilarious. And I love it that he said if he could have anyone be Just Judge, he'd want it to be Meryl Streep or Dolly Parton. I mean, come on, how can you get better than that? So yeah, I think that Robbie Turner will be a phenomenal queen on the show. Do I think she'll go very far? Hopefully, but I don't see it happening. But as I said, hopefully I'm surprised. The last queen we have is Thor. I think her drag looks very, very unpolished, and she said that she's been auditioning since season 1, so maybe that's her niche. And I actually heard that somewhere that she is in a beef with Acid Betty, the first queen I talked about. I guess they knew each other for years, and so now they're clashing on the show, which could actually be good for Thorgy and Acid Betty. Maybe that means they'll stick around longer. I don't think you can get a better frenemy than Coco Montrese and Alyssa Edwards, but who knows. She has a nice personality. Very electric and colorful, but again, I just don't think that she's that big of a competition to these girls. There's a really good, strong group of girls this season, and actually, if I were to pick the first one to get booted, I think it's going to be her. But you never know. That is my run through of all the girls from the season. I hope you enjoy it. Can't wait for the show to start, and actually, I am going to start posting weekly recaps of the episodes. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please comment, share, subscribe, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.